Welcome to the military matrix. For the better part of a century, the landscape of warfare has been dominated by titans. The kings of the battlefield were defined by their immense size, their staggering cost, and their exquisite complexity. The aircraft carrier, a floating city of sovereign power. The main battle tank, a steel beast of earth-shaking might. The stealth fighter, a silver phantom slipping through the defenses of a nation. These platforms, costing millions, often billions of dollars, were the chess pieces of global power, each one a strategic asset whose loss could alter the course of a conflict. We built entire doctrines and defensive systems around protecting these mechanical titans. But what if the future of war isn't a titan at all? What if the weapon that renders them all obsolete is not a bigger, more expensive machine, but 1,000 or 10,000 cheap, small, and intelligent ones? This is not science fiction. This is the dawn of swarm warfare. We are not talking about a group of remotely piloted drones being controlled by a room full of operators. We are talking about something fundamentally different, something that behaves less like a machine and more like a living organism. Imagine a shimmering cloud on the horizon, a dark murmur that grows into a deafening hum. A cloud not of insects, but of intelligent machines, communicating with each other, acting as one, flowing like a tidal wave of silicon and steel over the battlefield. This is the automated nightmare, a paradigm shift in military affairs so profound it may well eclipse the invention of the tank, the aircraft, or even the nuclear bomb. Today, we will dissect this revolution. We will explore what a UAV swarm truly is, how it functions, the terrifying strategic advantages it presents, the global race to master it, and the desperate high-tech hunt for a way to defend against it. To understand the swarm, we must first banish the image of a single pilot controlling a single drone. The defining characteristic of a swarm is decentralized, autonomous, collective intelligence. Think of a flock of starlings or a colony of ants. There is no single leader barking orders. Instead, each individual member follows a set of simple rules and communicates constantly with its immediate neighbors. This interaction creates a complex, adaptive, and intelligent group behavior that is far greater than the sum of its parts. A military swarm operates on the same principle. It is a single distributed entity. If you shoot down one drone, the swarm doesn't panic. It doesn't need new orders. The collective instantly adapts, reroutes tasks, and fills the gap in its formation as if healing a wound. This emergent behavior is the terrifying core of swarm warfare. This capability rests on three technological pillars. The first, and most visible, is the platform itself. The individual drones. Unlike their multi-million-dollar Predator or Reaper cousins, swarm drones are designed to be cheap, numerous, and ultimately expendable. Many can be 3D printed, their electronics sourced from the commercial market. Their power lies not in individual sophistication, but in overwhelming numbers. A swarm is also a versatile toolkit. It can be composed of different types of drones, each with a specific role. You might have kinetic drones, essentially small flying bombs tasked with destroying targets. Mixed in would be electronic warfare drones, whose job is not to explode but to jam enemy radar and communications, blinding the enemy. And weaving throughout the formation would be ISR drones, the eyes and ears of the swarm, equipped with cameras and sensors, identifying targets and painting a real-time picture of the battlefield for the collective. The second pillar, the invisible brain of the system, is the combination of AI and communication. This is where the magic and the menace truly lies. Each drone runs a swarm intelligence algorithm, the set of rules that governs its behavior in relation to its neighbors and its objectives. They are linked together in a robust, self-healing mesh network. This means they don't need to communicate back to a central command station, a vulnerability that could be jammed or destroyed. They talk only to each other, sharing terabytes of data every second. I've identified a radar installation at these coordinates. I've been damaged and am falling behind. 3 of us will engage that target, and the rest of you proceed to the next objective. This constant, autonomous collaboration allows the swarm to analyze the battlefield, assign tasks, and make tactical decisions faster than any human operator ever could. The third pillar is the deployment method. Getting 1,000 drones into the air is a significant logistical challenge. Militaries around the world are developing ingenious solutions. One method is a mothership, a larger aircraft like a C-130 transport that flies to the edge of contested airspace and releases a swarm from its cargo bay, a concept explored by DARPA's Gremlins program. Another approach involves canisters, similar to artillery shells or rockets, each containing multiple folded-up drones. A single rocket launcher could fire dozens of these canisters, blanketing an area with hundreds of UAVs in seconds. They can also be launched from ground vehicles, warships, or even submarines, adding to the multi-domain threat. The strategic implications of a functional swarm are staggering, and they shatter the traditional economics of warfare. The primary advantage is the ability to utterly overwhelm a defender through saturation. Modern air defense systems are built on a flawed economic model when it comes to swarms. A single interceptor missile, like a Patriot or an SM-6, can cost over $1 million. It is designed to shoot down a multi-million-dollar fighter jet. Firing that interceptor at a $10,000 drone is an unsustainable economic proposition. A swarm of 1,000 drones could force a naval destroyer to expend its entire multi-million-dollar missile magazine, leaving it defenseless against a follow-on attack from traditional missiles or aircraft. This concept, known as imposing an unfavorable cost-exchange ratio, is a strategy in itself. Furthermore, a swarm can attack from every direction simultaneously. A carrier strike group, for instance, is designed to face threats from specific vectors. But a swarm can descend from above, skim the waves from all 360 degrees, and attack in a coordinated multi-axis wave that no current defensive system is designed to handle. Its resilience is another key factor. Because there is no central command node, there is no single point of failure. You can't decapitate the swarm. It can absorb losses that would cripple a conventional military unit and continue its mission with relentless efficiency. This opens up entirely new mission profiles. One of the most critical is the SEAD divided by dead mission, the suppression or destruction of enemy air defenses. Before sending in priceless stealth bombers and fighters, you first send in a swarm of cheap drones to hunt down and destroy the enemy's radar sites and missile launchers, effectively kicking down the door for the main force. Swarms can be used for devastating precision strikes, converging on a single high-value target like a command bunker, a fuel depot, or the bridge of a warship. They can also be used for area denial, creating a no-go zone by continuously patrolling a piece of territory, making it suicidal for enemy troops or vehicles to enter. Finally, they can form an ISR blanket, a persistent, all-seeing eye over the battlefield that tracks every enemy movement. The global race to perfect this technology is well underway. The United States, through agencies like DARPA, has been a pioneer with programs like Locust and the Offensive Swarm-Enabled Tactics, or OFFSET program, which explores using swarms of up to 250 autonomous vehicles to operate in complex urban environments. The American approach focuses on creating highly intelligent networked swarms where each drone is a sophisticated node in a larger system of systems. China, however, is seen as the leading competitor and perhaps the nation best positioned to exploit swarm warfare. The Chinese defense industry has repeatedly demonstrated increasingly large and complex swarm launches, deploying hundreds of drones from helicopters and trucks. Leveraging its massive manufacturing base, China's strategy may focus on numerical superiority, creating swarms not of hundreds, but of thousands, or even tens of thousands of less sophisticated drones, aiming to win not through technological elegance, but through sheer, unstoppable mass. Russia, the United Kingdom, Israel, and several other nations are also investing heavily, recognizing that failing to develop swarm capabilities is tantamount to ceding the future battlefield to their adversaries. So, how do you fight a cloud? How do you defend against a threat that is everywhere and nowhere at once? This is the counter-swarm conundrum, and it is one of the most urgent challenges facing military planners today. Firing missiles is, as we've established, a losing game. Gatling guns like the Phalanx CIWS can be effective, but they can only engage a few targets at a time and are quickly overwhelmed. The solution must come from a new defensive toolkit. The most promising technology lies in directed energy. High-energy lasers, now being fitted onto destroyers and ground vehicles, can engage targets at the speed of light. Their beams can slice through a drone's airframe or fry its electronics in an instant. More importantly, their cost per shot is negligible essentially, the cost of the electricity needed to generate the beam. This allows them to engage hundreds of targets without running out of ammunition. Similarly, high-power microwave weapons like the U.S. Air Force's THOR system can emit a focused beam of energy that doesn't destroy a single drone, but disrupts the electronics of every drone within its wide beam, potentially neutralizing an entire section of a swarm with a single pulse. Electronic warfare is another critical tool. If you can jam the communication links between the drones, you can break the swarm's collective intelligence, turning it from a coordinated pack of wolves into a dumb, disorganized group of targets. GPS spoofing can feed the swarm false location data, causing it to fly into the ground or away from its intended target. Finally, there are more direct kinetic solutions, from launching nets to firing projectiles that explode into a cloud of tungsten fragments, shredding anything in their path. Some have even proposed the ultimate defense, deploying your own defensive swarm of interceptor drones to fight the attacking swarm in the air, a true vision of robotic dogfights of the future. The reality is that no single solution will be enough. The defense of tomorrow will require a deeply integrated, layered system combining all of these elements. In conclusion, the emergence of autonomous swarm warfare is not merely an incremental improvement in drone technology. It is a fundamental revolution that is changing the very nature of conflict. It marks a shift away from the paradigm of expensive, exquisite, and attrition-based warfare towards a new model of overwhelming, intelligent, and automated saturation attacks. This transition brings with it profound and deeply unsettling ethical questions about the role of human control in lethal decision-making. We are standing on the precipice of a world where algorithms may soon be given the authority to kill, a world where the line between soldier and machine blurs into non-existence. The soldier of the future may not fear the sniper's bullet or the artillery shell as much as the distant growing hum of 1,000 tiny engines on the horizon, a sound that heralds the arrival of the automated nightmare. Thank you for joining us on the Military Matrix.